Hello, everyone. I see all of our attendees coming in to the webinar today. Welcome, welcome. I am Megan. I run marketing here at ArtCloud, and we're so excited to have you today, this fine Thursday. It's 2 p.m. here in Atlanta, Georgia, where our company is based. And I'm really looking forward to talking to everybody about cataloging your work, getting super organized. It's about midway through the year, which is hard to believe, but it's spring cleaning. It's summer refresh, whatever you want to call it. Cataloging and getting your physical and digital presence in order could not be more important in 2025. And it's one of my favorite things to talk about in the arts is getting artists organized, thinking about artwork as a bigger portfolio for artists, and then eventually, as the introduction slide says here, it's how you get opportunities. Like if you're not organized with your work and you don't have your work in a place where it can be shared out pretty easily, pretty quickly, opportunities don't come as quickly. So here's our introduction here. Again, welcome. We have a few more attendees than we did 1 minute ago, but again, my name is Megan. I am an art person and also a software person, and just a little bit of housekeeping before we really get into it. You can see these slides. They're very wordy. I did that on purpose because I'm going to send you this via PDF after the webinar. So as I'm going through and talking through the techniques and the various ways in which one catalogs their artwork, know that you can watch the recording afterwards. This will be on YouTube with all of our other webinars. Our other webinars range from gallery representation to press as an artist to getting museum opportunities. Our YouTube page is just full of years of content that is always worth a rewatch. Also to note, my coworker here, Max, is on mute and off camera, but he'll be monitoring the chat and the Q&A today. So if you have any questions, if you'd like to be in touch, Max can answer all your questions via email. So, drop all of the information, whatever's on your mind in the Q&A in the chat. And also you can reach support@artcloud.com if you have any questions about the platform. So, I love flat files here. You can see I'm a bit of a nerd for organizing art. And that leads me to, who am I? Why do I want to talk about this? Why am I qualified to talk about this? I am Megan. I'm the marketing director here at ArtCloud, but my background is in the arts as an artist assistant. I've mixed oil paints and organized artworks and put artworks on artists' websites and done loads of things like that. And I'm really passionate about opportunities for artists. Like the last sentence says, I'm passionate about creating spaces digitally and physically where art thrives and where art sells. So with that said, we're going to really just launch into this because we have a lot to talk about today, and then we will cap the webinar off with a Q&A. We'll cap the webinar off also with a brief platform tour. If you're curious about ArtCloud or if you already use ArtCloud, I know that we have quite a few attendees that are actively using ArtCloud every day to sell art. So we'll go through the inventory backend and just talk about a cloud-based system that you can hold all of your information in. So yes, here we go. So digital organization and fluency matters. Being fluent in digital capacity, it's a difficult thing because, as we know, the internet and the way that we use the computer is changing all the time with AI and different things. It can feel like a really big uphill battle, especially if you're in a different generation, if you're a little bit older and you're like, this computer stuff is just impossible. I empathize really hard with that. And it can feel like I just don't even know where to start. So you start here with me right now. And just to intro, we know that it takes between 4 and 5 follow-ups to make an art sale. We know this because we have the data, because ArtCloud, our primary and our first product is for galleries. We have hundreds of galleries that use ArtCloud to sell art every day, to organize their artists. And so we know this. And in order to have your work out there in the first place, to have a collector inquire about it, you have to get it organized. It has to be on a website or your Instagram or somewhere that people can actually find your work. And in order to do that, the first big lift, gathering and categorizing your artwork. This can feel extremely overwhelming, especially if you've been making art for decades, or if you have making art for a couple of years and you just make a lot of work and have things everywhere. It can feel like, again, an uphill battle. So the first thing, collect everything you've made, include finished pieces, studies, works on paper experiments. Start with recent works if you feel overwhelmed. Start with 10 to 15 works and photograph them. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but measuring each piece and writing down key details, dimension, medium, year, title, series, like whatever is relevant to the way in which you make artwork. I recommend, and what's worked for me in the past is using a piece of painter's tape. And this is for someone who creates, more standard 2D works, but write all this down and put that label on the back of it. I know it's your work, so one would think like, oh, I'll remember what I called this. I remember what year this was made. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but my attention span quite small these days. So putting all of those important things like physically on the piece, that way at the end of doing that, you can grab things and organize things in your studio or in your workspace by size or by series or by whatever makes sense to you. If you're photographing with your phone, which you'll talk about in a little while, creating a dedicated folder with those images, with the images that are cropped and prepared, that's been a game changer because, again, it's easy to get overwhelmed when you're taking pictures of so many things. And the last bullet, small steps now will save you time. High quality images and consistent naming. As a digital nerd, consistent naming, it seems like a small thing when you have your files on your computer. But if you have a system and a naming convention, your life will just feel so much easier and you'll know where to find things. So a little bit more in photographing. Natural light is always sort of the way. Natural filtered light. I always say that artwork likes to be photographed as if it's like an indoor plant that needs medium filtered light. Soft, diffused artificial light would work. Even like if you have a low level ring light that you can get, easily online, avoiding glare and shadows. Aiming for 300 dpi resolution for clarity and quality, using a neutral background. So, like I said before, cropping you might think is the answer. It's often, we know this with data and with art sales on art cloud websites. It's best to have like 4 to 5 images of each individual piece. I know I feel like I knew I would feel like this going into this webinar, but just putting a bunch of homework on your plate, like I'm not going to be there to help you, but it's a lot of homework, but it is worth it in the end if you start this the right way or kind of dive back into the cataloging project in an organized and thoughtful way. So artworks on the internet sell faster if they're about 5 different the sort of detail shots, installation shots, hanging something on the wall and getting a little video of it, like a 10-second, not even video. If you think about buying things online in general, you want to really know, like whenever we're on an e-commerce website, how often are you buying something, especially something expensive, without flipping through the photos? So think about that as as collectors buying artwork online. If it's just a flat image of a painting or a flat image of even a photograph, people won't be able to really see it in their space. So as you're cataloging your work, as you're photographing your work, think about taking, a bunch of different shots. If it's a canvas and it's wrapped around the stretcher bars in 1.5 inch depth, and you've done something special to the outside, photograph it, and then put that in the folder and name all of the images in the right way. Oh, Terry, I see your question. I've got the chat open. Max is monitoring it, but I'm going to answer this right away. 4 to 5 photos of, yeah, of the images. That is if it's framed. Like if you're selling a framed piece that's say matted with something special, say if it has museum glass on it, say if you've invested in the actual execution of the artwork of the photograph, you want to document that. If you don't have that and it's only digital, that's fine. You wouldn't expect to have 4 to 5 images of a digital photograph. But that's, if you're selling something that is already framed. Even taking a picture of the back of it can be good to really kind of hammer home to collectors. Oh, this is wired in a nice way and framed in a professional manner, and then that would make someone want to buy it a little bit more. So before we go off this slide, renaming images with clear, consistent naming conventions with underscores. None of this is required per se, and it's not a hard and fast rule. This is just how I've done it in the past, and how just when you're in the nitty gritty and you're going through files, that underscore as opposed to the dash, it seems it seems like a really small thing, but you're getting out of the way of the title, year, dimension, medium, etc. And you can just see it better, faster. We're building lots of artist websites and doing all this. It's just been really helpful for me in the past. So I always like to mention it, and avoiding generic names like image 342. It'll get lost. I guarantee it will. So going through your files and making sure you have everything organized is really important. So metadata and documentation. Metadata in this instance is the title, medium, dimensions, year, description, just all of the information about the piece is what we call metadata, what people call metadata. It matters for what is on this slide right here, but it's also not just for your files. It also boosts your visibility online to have all of the information about a piece very, very, very recorded online. So within ArtCloud, I'll show you how to do that. And then within our ArtCloud websites, you can build your website on ArtCloud, which if you haven't been here before, if you've not met me before or gone to ArtCloud's website, that's what we do. It's a management system and a website builder. So we automatically populate every single inventory item with that metadata, because when you add an inventory piece to ArtCloud and to probably our competitors and other places and Wix and wherever, you're already putting that in, and we already optimize it on the back end when you publish your website. So that's a good thing. We're really happy with that. And then also, when you have all the information associated with your piece, either on your Instagram in the comment, in the caption, or on your website with that inventory, that way collectors, curators, even grants, like different people that are online looking for artists for opportunities, they can find you faster if all of the information is in one place. So organizing and storing digitally. So choosing your platform, obviously we're here with ArtCloud, so I recommend ArtCloud, but cloud-based systems where you can store your artwork images and your metadata, it's going to be very helpful. You can do this obviously in a spreadsheet or in Google Drive or Dropbox, or in another way where you have your images, you have the data, perhaps you have a running list in a spreadsheet or a document with all of the information. With ArtCloud, you don't need that, and I'll show you in a moment why. Clear folder structure. Also a folder nerd, as my coworkers are probably hearing me right now. I'm a folder nerd. Year, medium, and project, or series, year, whatever makes sense for you. Again, it's just going to help you in the long run to start with like a really systematized way of cataloging your work. And it will depend for each one of y'all. File naming consistency. I'm hammering it home again because of how much I love the underscore. How much I love that. And I see that the chat here is popping off, but big thanks to Max again for joining me today. He's wonderful and will answer all of your questions. And if he doesn't in the chat, again, we will get back to you via email. We want to support as much as we can. So yes, organizing and storing digitally, whether you can bulk upload your works to somewhere like ArtCloud by using a template spreadsheet, a CSV file, you can do that, or you can add things individually, which won't take you that much time. Creating a shareable digital portfolio. So after you've done all of this legwork, perhaps you ask someone to help you. At 2020, I was an artist assistant and did these things, and have always been more like management minded. So perhaps you like reach out to your local university, or perhaps a like nonprofit organization like an art center in your area. It might be worth paying for someone to help you do this. I know that the artists that I've worked for, it's like good money well spent because of how much they frankly like hate doing this. Because I know that you guys just want to get back into the studio. Like this is not the work, the work is making the art. And so just to note that I understand that and respect that, and that I know that this is frustrating, but getting it all together is going to make you feel so good when you can just send, a tear sheet or a price list or your website link or your Instagram profile to someone that you meet, in a restaurant, somewhere you meet on vacation, and you like have all of this information organized and buttoned up. It's going to make you feel great. So building a professional portfolio using platforms like ours, a personal website, or a well-organized PDF that you have accessible. And speaking of accessibility, ensuring that your portfolio is easy to view and share. We've got things like private viewing rooms and exportable links and things like that. But making sure that you have, a good font size on your website, like you are paying attention to some of the standard guidelines for website best practices. I believe we have a webinar on that as well. But just thinking about everyone that is using the internet and how they will perceive your work. Anything below a 9-point font size, I believe, is like not readable for most people. Which you'd think I wouldn't have to say that, but I've known artists that are like, I'm going to get cheeky and make it light gray in a 8-point font size, and it's not going to work. So yes, sharing and promoting your work. I know we have some content about this too. So once you are up and running, you have your files settled, you've taken all of your bajillions of pictures, and you have the works that you'd like to put on your website, perhaps posts for Instagram. Every time you take 4 to 5 pictures of a piece to put in your inventory, think of it like a social media post. Plan that stuff out. You can go into the back of Meta and you can plan posts out. I'm thinking about doing a webinar on that, but it can be nice to schedule your posts in advance. And all of the images that you're taking of your works, don't lose sight of the fact that that's social media content. That's a reel, that's a TikTok, that's a LinkedIn post or a Facebook post. So you're making sure you're both cataloging to stay organized, but you're creating content at the same time too. So leveraging your web presence, consistent social media updates once a week, you're getting in there, you're saying, hey, this is me authentically, this is me in the studio, this is me getting coffee before I get back to work. I know a lot of artists find social media to be a pretty enormous drag, not to be a continued negative Nancy, but again, it's not making the work. It feels like extra. It's not making the art. So I'm trying to systematize it and just making sure you have something on your calendar. Like Thursdays, I post on social media. Tuesdays, I do this. Just trying to make it consistent and in your schedule. And then tagging. So a pro tip before we go on to getting into the back end of ArtCloud and getting into the nitty gritty of the platform. tag galleries and partners and art fairs in your posts to expand your reach, and make sure to continue to use like 10 to 15 super relevant specific hashtags. That's like my little piece on the social media content portion of all this. But you want people to see your post, and in order for the algorithm to look your direction, you kind of need to be weaselly about it and tag within reason, especially obviously relevant to that organization or business. Um, but yes, so and then sharing your feed posts on your story, making sure to share posts with your friends and have them like it in order to expand the algorithm. The algorithm higher ups to elevate your work on social media. So yes, all of that said, the need for the right technology. So we obviously think about this every single day with our manager and our websites. Our manager is the business backend, all your sales and marketing tools. We integrate with Stripe, which is one of the leading payment processing companies. And so you can invoice your collectors and invoice people directly from the ArtCloud platform, and they can pay with an easy link with their credit card, et cetera. But with ArtCloud, you can build a brand that represents you. If you don't have a logo, hop in Canva or a Word document and use a font that you like and make a logo. It really can be as easy as that. It really is just about being consistent. And we encourage you to start ArtCloud for free. I think Max, I'm seeing him mention and Charlotte, how many tags really depends on the type of post. But I would say like 2 to 3, depending on, again, the actual content in the post. With ArtCloud for free, you have a couple of different options to start. We have a free forever account that comes with 500 inventory items. So it's a wonderful way to get started and just get all of your artworks in one place. We're a web-based platform, constantly backing up. So no worries there, super secure. So you can get there, it's a very limited thing for free, obviously, but when you're ready, you can start a free trial of like the whole Monty of all of ArtCloud and really mess around with the awesome features that come with a paid account. So that said, I'm going to go over into the actual platform. This is a dummy account. All of these are stock images. And this is the inventory backend. So this is what we call the inventory dashboard. We have our homepage here. Kim is not real. I made her up. But in the middle here, this is called Copilot, and you can scroll through when you have more data in your account to share new arrivals with your collectors, to connect with your gallery, lots of different things. You've got to-do lists, notifications, all of these things. But in the inventory backend, this is where all of the cataloging actually happens. I'm going to click into this piece right here. I also have it set up to show me a lot of different stuff. So tags could be anything from, corporate collection bound or the type of medium that's the grouping, like painting in general. You can really customize ArtCloud to fit your needs as an artist. So clicking into this bog piece, you go in and you can see there's a lot of information. You can take this as slowly or as quickly as you would like. But basically, you can record everything you've ever known about this piece in this inventory record. You can also opt it into our marketplace if you have a paid account. And the marketplace is kind of like a supplemental sales floor. We do not take commission. You're simply paying very standard payment processing fees if you sell a piece on the marketplace, but it's just a really nice to have option. You can put things on hold. You can export to a tear sheet, wall tags. We have an Avery label integration. So if you're in a group show and you're responsible for your own wall tags, or you're a part of a cooperative gallery, you're responsible for your own wall tags. This has also become much cooler in the last couple months. We have added, our developers are fantastic, and they've added a bunch of Avery label integration into the wall tag functionality, and then a certificate of authenticity. If I clicked this, then, well, I'll just go ahead and click it. Everything kind of comes up here and you can toggle on and off, what you would like to see on here, and then you can export it easily to PDF. This, I from my past life know that, tailoring these documents and trying to make a price list or a tear sheet can take forever. So we really prioritize that automation in ArtCloud. And so essentially here, as I scroll down, acquisition date, this is more a gallery specific thing, but you'd be surprised that, how often this comes up for artists that are perhaps, selling, different types of things on their website, who knows? Price, inventory number, a SKU number if you're selling merchandise, which you certainly can on ArtCloud. You can sell, I think I saw this in the chat and I'll mention it out loud, editions and non-editioned work. So you can sell multiples very easily. We've got many photographers that use ArtCloud, but you can also sell, obviously, original paintings or what have you. And then you can specify whether item is framed, framed cost, framer name, height, width, frame depth, all of the things, mounting. We've really tried to think of everything when it comes to cataloging artwork and making sure that you're keeping track. These are public notes and these are private notes. This becomes important when you are putting something on your website. So, or you're, sending and exporting a price list or a tear sheet, and you have some things you want to say that you don't want to be published anywhere, that is a cool feature. So you can also upload multiple images, and then you can download the images back out of ArtCloud, which I've always found to be a pretty stupendous feature of ours, because you lost it, say you didn't follow my advice from the slides, and you can't find like the image and you need it for something, you can like re-download it out of ArtCloud, which is so cool. You can upload documents per piece. So say I don't know, from an exhibition or a museum show, you have some associated documents that you'd like to include under this inventory record, you could do that here. Interested contacts, a very cool feature when you have built out your CRM or your contacts in ArtCloud, your client relationship manager. So you can know who has inquired about this piece, who has bought this piece, all of those types of things. So, and then a financial history and an editing history. So say you do have an assistant and you have like a staff member that's, editing things in your ArtCloud account, you can see who's doing what and when. And then financials. So shipping price, insurance value, if you've gotten that deep into it, and then a consignment price as well. With ArtCloud, you are able to consign your work to ArtCloud galleries, which is again, a great feature for if you have a gallery that uses ArtCloud. It's a pretty seamless transfer of information, and you can have all that data in there, and it's a great thing to use. So, and then expenses. Say if I don't know, the canvas got a hole in it and you wanted to pay someone to fix it, all the expenses that come with making work and selling work, you can add those here as well. So I'm going to take a pause and take a quick view of the chat. Antoine, that's actually a great question right down here at the very end here. Is ArtCloud vetting the galleries that we can consign our work to? We vet them by way of them, having an ArtCloud account and paying for an ArtCloud subscription. ArtCloud subscriptions with galleries, it's galleries that need and utilize a management system. So that right there is vetting, but we aren't introducing you to the gallery. It would be a gallery that you have a pre-existing relationship with. But we have hundreds of galleries all over the world that actively use ArtCloud to sell work within their online presence and within their physical space. So yes, Max, you're doing the work in this chat. I'm so happy you're here because I'm rambling about all of the goodness within our the inventory backend. So with that, it is 2:30. I think right now I will go into the Q&A portion. I would love to kind of address a few of these questions in the chat. So keep on typing in here. I'm actively looking at them. But to yes, you have to send them the pieces for them to sell them, Antoine. So the consignment portal from artist to gallery, you would say consign to, X gallery, and they would receive an email notification, and you would communicate that way. So you're welcome. There's more information on that in our knowledge base, which is kind of like an art cloud encyclopedia. It's how you can get to know how to do everything in detail. And then again, on our YouTube page, there's lots and lots of videos about everything from professional development to finding gallery representation, press, financials for artists, including some tax advice, which isn't relevant a month after tax day, but maybe you're planning for next year, who knows? So yes, I encourage you to take advantage of those resources. This is a really good question. Can you set up a consignment list for galleries that you show in that are not on ArtCloud? Absolutely. So you don't have to use ArtCloud to connect with galleries that are also using ArtCloud. Say if I wanted to, here, I'll make a consignment right now. So I'm going to choose these two pieces. And then I'm going to, I can export, I can apply to an invoice. I can place them on hold. I can add to a list. I can email to a contact, and I can export to all of these different things. Say if I wanted to make a price list, I can do this. I can auto, I do this really easily. You saw me do it in one click with different, logo centered. There's a lot of templates that just come pre-built in ArtCloud. Once you upload your logo and you start backfilling in your ArtCloud account, you'll see how easy it is to just press a few buttons and you've got a really pretty price list that you can email to a contact. A note on our email integration: if you have Gmail or Office 365, you can directly integrate your email into ArtCloud. It shows up in your native Gmail, but in here you can see how easy it is to just add your works to an email without having to deal with formatting or attachments. So that's pretty cool. And with that, as you can see, there's so many things to play around with in the back end. I highly encourage a free trial or just a free account to get started. And then, like I said before, we will send you the deck, some more information, perhaps an invitation to our next webinar, and all the information you might need to get started with ArtCloud, but also just get started or continue the process of cataloging your work to make sure that your digital presence is up to snuff in 2025. And I really appreciate everyone being here today. It's a joy to do these webinars. This is one of my favorite topics. I think you could probably tell. And if you have any questions at all, support@artcloud.com, or Max is here if you'd like to ask ArtCloud related questions, max@artcloud.com. And we will see you next time. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to answer this one last question because I like this question before I leave. Is ArtCloud more relevant for artists to have galleries they're working with already, or would this be good for emerging artists to make connections? Sarah, that's a really good question. I think ArtCloud is good for both in this way, because galleries that you're already working with, you already have a relationship with them and you already know how to send them the information that they're asking for. It can only improve that relationship because those price lists and the way that you catalog your work and the way that you're able to get them really beautiful documentation can only improve your relationship and make things just a little bit faster. with your consignments, sending them lists of things. But then if you don't have galleries, which many artists don't, I mean, a lot of artists, they're making the work and selling it either to friends and family and collectors in their community or on Instagram or what have you, or maybe you're not selling work at all as of yet. Maybe it hasn't been on your mind. Art Cloud in that way can also help you, export those tear sheets, have those PDFs to send to, again, someone you meet on vacation or at work or something. So I think it works in the same way, where if you have everything organized, you have a better chance of, sealing the deal with a sale or getting gallery representation if a gallery knows that you are an artist that like really has your stuff together. So that's my answer to that question. And with that, thank you guys so much. And I will see you next time. Keep coming to our webinars. These are so fun. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, everyone. And I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. You'll hear from me early next week with a recording and a bunch of other information. Thanks, everyone. Bye.